It's really important to remember that when we started TDM, I was only 26. We'd fallen in love with Buffett. We loved this concept of growing businesses, backing outstanding teams. But at that point in time, we really didn't know anything. And so we were learning on the job real time. For me, when I really think about the TDM journey, it was 2008. I'd only just turned 30 and I had the privilege of joining the Baby Bunting board. That was really the transformational moment when at TDM we got to appreciate really what people and culture meant. We learned so much from that Baby Bunting experience. If you have an investment horizon of over 10 years, which we do, it really doesn't matter how good your growth opportunity is, how strong your competitive advantage is. It's how good the people are that will define whether you're successful or not. Despite it being the hardest thing to execute on, effectively scaling people and culture, in my mind, is the single most important factor for long-term success.
While Tom was joining the Baby Bunting board, the other pivotal people and culture experience that was happening concurrently was meeting Ethan Berman. Ethan was the founder and CEO of New York-based software business RiskMetrics. A few $100 million of revenue, growing fast. And we met Ethan at the back end of a grueling IPO roadshow that he was going through. And what struck me during that call was Ethan's groundedness, his humility, but how much he cared and how thoughtful he was about people and culture. In 2007, that was unique. Two things became abundantly clear about RiskMetrics and Ethan Berman. Number one, he was building a culture that inspired people, that attracted and retained the best kind of people. And number two, and this was the real learning, the customers really cared. And I think that's characteristic now more than ever of both employees and customers of all organisations, how much they care about the authenticity of the mission and the values and the cultures of businesses that they're a part of. We grew up on Jim Collins, built to last, good to great, and a concept that always resonated really deeply with us was level 5 leaders. Ethan embodied level 5 leadership, and he was the first level 5 leader that we really got to know up close and personal. And we saw how meaningful this was in terms of business results, shareholder outcomes, and ultimately for us, being a part of a business that we're proud of.
CEOs that we meet for the very first time are always shocked by how much time we want to spend in that first meeting talking about people and culture, digging into teams, leadership, values. They're used to investors asking about what next quarter looks like and financial metrics. We're much keener to talk about things like what their daily routine looks like. That comes as a surprise to many of them. Why do we care so deeply about people and culture? For me, it wasn't one single event. It was a collection of lessons over the last 20 years. We've learned time and time again, where we have an outstanding CEO and team, magic starts to happen. Whether it's strategy, innovation, capital allocation, it all gels together. The only truly sustainable competitive advantage over the long term is people and culture. That is a deep-seated belief we have, and that is why, whether it's before investing in our due diligence phase or post-investment when we're helping companies out, people and culture is at the centre of every decision that we're making.